Well, Rebecca comes in. Hey, Rebecca, how are you doing? Hello. Yeah, I can see you.
I can hear you now.
Yeah. The moment of hesitation.
There was a moment. We're all good. Hey, Leonora.
Thanks for being here, Leonora. So we will just very briefly, if you haven't connected with us previously, just to briefly do a quick introduction to us, who we are and what we do, and then we will get into our content today, all about your values, thinking about your values, and if you're a coach, how you can help your clients to think about their values as well. So hello, I can't pronounce your name, Eskud Balok and Joe Overton, lovely to have you here with us. Great to be connected. I hope you're well. I hope you've started the week well. And hey, Genevieve as well on Instagram, really great to have you with us today. So if you are new to us, if you haven't joined us before, we are the Coaching Catalysts. I'm Sarah Bramwell, joined by my lovely partner, Rebecca Daniel, and both of us are ICF accredited coaches. We're both coach trainers for leading organisations, and we are both coach supervisors. I'm based north of London in St Albans. Rebecca's based south of London in Kent, and together we come together to form the Coaching Catalysts, nearly lost my words then, to form the Coaching Catalysts, and we deliver coaching, we deliver coach supervision, and we also deliver training for organisations. So Rebecca, let you get a word in.
Well, no, it's been a great week before this. We've both been on half term with our families. I don't know if Sarah's already introduced that at the very beginning. And this week we kick-started our first session with our collective. So for those people that don't know much about the collective, or it's the first time you're hearing about it, Sarah and I have a supervision service for coaches, for people that use coaching skills in their business or in their work. And the collective is a collective of coaches that are looking to enhance their personal, but most importantly, their professional development alongside that as well. So in the collective today, we had our connection call, which we run monthly. And it was really lovely, wasn't it, Sarah, to bring together coaches from, and we can actually say from different parts of the world, not just different parts of the UK, and talk to them and connect with them about, first of all, what they're celebrating, like what's going on for them, any wins or any learnings, but also then for them to connect with each other to build those deep relationships that are really important to us. So that was a good highlight for today, Sarah, wasn't it?
Absolutely. No, it was really lovely. It was our very first connection call with the collective community, and it was really, really great to hear from everybody and to give everybody an opportunity to interact, both like as part of a big group, but also to have some time together in breakout rooms as well. So that was a really great way to kick the week off. So, hey, we've got Samir joining on Insta, and we've got Abia Bolu as well. Thanks, Leonora. Leonora's saying over on Insta, it was such a valuable session, great connections with like-minded coaches, and a good way to start the week. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to share with you a little bit about what we were talking about this morning, hopefully to give you some inspiration about the importance of values, because in coaching, so anybody who's worked with us as a coach or as a client, you will know that in coaching, one of the very first things that we come to is talking to our clients about values, because it's our values that help us to uncover and to define what's most important for us. And when clients come to us in coaching, they're looking to make a change. And it's really important that before we start that process of making a change, that change is heading in the right direction, so that we're heading in a direction with our clients that's aligned with their values, that's most important to them. Because what we find with clients so often, for so many of us, is that actually we're living somebody else's life. We're, living success on somebody else's terms, or maybe doing things to make other people happy without really stopping to question for us, what's the most important thing for me? So, Rebecca, for you, what would you say about the importance of values work in your life?
So I think when I was getting ready to leave the education sector, it was something that I really focused on. First of all, exploring like what is really, really important to me versus what I believed was important, or the values that I'd acquired from family and from communities that I was in, right? I think sometimes we can get really lost in adopting other people's values. And when we really sit down and think about actually what's truly important to us personally and professionally. So I think for me, I know that community is really important. Hence, you and I are in a partnership, right? Like, I do believe in partnership work. I do believe in collaboration. And I do think that that is clearly underpinned by our community. So for me, that's probably one of my most important. Alongside, I think we can all have lists of values. Like, there are loads of values that we can all say, yep, yep, yep. But for me, I think the community value comes again under the connection. And when you really look at like the pattern, when I've really gone through and looked at where these all link, it comes down to relationships. Relationships, links to the connection, links to the community, links to family and loved ones, which is, as a cluster, for me, one of my most important values. So I'm going to say relationship, but clearly I know that there's many sub-threads to that as well.
Well, I'm smiling and laughing because guess what word is written down in my notebook from the exercise that we did this morning?
What is it? Relationships.
Relationships.
Oh, okay. So we got there in the end. This is why we're in business together, you see.
This is why we're in business together. Isn't that funny? And just for the record, we haven't discussed this. We haven't pre-prepared this ahead of time. We really didn't. So the exercise that we did this morning was we were looking at 3 people that we admire. So 3 role models, 3 heroes, 3 people that we admire. And what we were doing from that was we were drawing out the traits or the attributes that we admire from those 3 role models. And then we were working in listening partnerships to help us to elicit what the commonalities are between those role models. So my chosen 3 were Brené Brown, Michelle Obama, and my Nana. And when I started to list the traits and the attributes, guess what? We've already told you for each 3 of them, number 1 word that came to mind: relationships, relationships, and relationships. It's really making me smile that Rebecca has stated that here as one of your most important values, Rebecca.
Yeah, so when I was looking at mine, Michelle Obama came up for me, and my dad came up for me as well. And when I was looking at that, it was, and this is where the thread's coming, right? It was about what they embody, right? And when you look at what they do and the work that my dad did, it all came down to the community, that give back. But actually, when you delve further into that, it's the relationships that enable them to do that work that they do or did, and to have such an impact. So yeah, it's good to hear that we didn't do this activity together and that there are some commonalities. And I think what people will find is when you do this with a collective of people, it's important to see if there are any threads that are within that collective of people, because what you'll notice is that you tend to surround yourselves with people that have similar values to you. May not be all of them, that's quite impossible to expect all of their values to be the same as yours, but similar values, your friendship groups, your colleagues, your community group that you're part of. So it was a great activity to do, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's really interesting. And Leonora was with us this morning. Leonora's saying mine were transparency slash honesty and perseverance. Yeah, it's fascinating. I love it's one of the absolute joys of life is for me learning about people's values, not about
Mm.
maybe the values that maybe we profess to have, like
Mhm.
a shopping list. Like you said, Rebecca, it's really easy to rattle them off. But actually, when we really kind of dig deep and we look at how we live our lives and what's really going on to really uncover what actually are the most important, those really sort of core values. Fascinating.
And so, what do you do then once you've identified your values? And I would say pick 3 to 5. I think that's quite a nice, manageable number so that you don't sit there forever kind of listing off all the values. I think pick 3 to 5. And if you've got a list of more than 3 to 5, like try and find, as I said, the collective, the similarity, the commonality. So Leonora said transparency and honesty. And integrity, that's kind of mine. So when you cluster that together, what is that for you? And then once you've identified your core values, what do you do with it?
That's a really good question. And that's often, again, that's what comes up in coaching is that when we identify those core values, and then we look at what's currently going on in our lives, quite often there's a disconnect. So we might say that, I don't know, let's say community is important, but actually through the work that we're doing or the way that we're living our life, maybe community doesn't really feature because that isn't how we've previously defined success. So quite often there can be a disconnect, which is what brings people to coaching because they know that something's off, that something, that they want to make a change. But doing that values work then really helps you to kind of put your finger on, that's what's missing for me. This is what's important, and this is where it's kind of out of alignment. So this happened for me when I was still in teaching, and I'd done my coach training, but I was still kind of, working part-time as a teacher, starting to build my coaching business, but I wasn't quite sure that I was ready to take the leap. And when I did work on my values elicitation, I was like, learning and development are really, really important to me. And actually, for me, that's missing. So although as a teacher, obviously the nature of my work was in learning and development, but actually it was missing for me personally because I was just in a context whereby I felt like I was being stunted in terms of my growth. And that's what coaching gave me, that teaching was no longer giving me. And knowing that that core value was missing for me was enough for me to go, okay, well, that's a sign then that I'm not in a place here where where I can live the values that I'm saying are important to me. And that's probably the impetus for me to leave.
And I think for me, it was the challenge of family and freedom, right? And I wanted to be around for my daughter at the time. I only had one child at the time, and have the flexibility to do that. And so that was, I would say, the catalyst moment for me, recognizing that there was a conflict there. I couldn't be where I wanted to be at the time that I was needed. And so I had to find a way that I could still do that and show up. And I don't regret that now, years to come, like years down the line, because I'm where I am meant to be. Yeah. That's a nice feeling when you know that you're where you're meant to be.
Yeah, absolutely that. Because when you're in alignment with your values, then you're in that state of flow, you're in the right place, and it just all feels easier, doesn't it? It just all comes together.
So that was a good one, isn't it? Hey, Kerry, for joining. So lovely to see you. And thanks to those that are still hanging out with us. So Genevieve and Joanne as well. So thanks for being here. We have something special coming up for you. So Sarah and I, after our ICF and International Coaching Week experience, our supervision and coaching experience, we connected with some wonderful, wonderful people. Again, some wonderful coaches from different parts of the world. And we really loved that ability to connect, that ability to learn and grow together. So what we've decided to do is monthly, up until the end of the year, is host a supervision experience, which is called Listening Partnership. So we did a bit of it during the experience week, but we're going to have it diarised in the calendar for a Thursday once a month. So the first one is the 22nd of June. And all you need to do is go to bit.ly/supervision experience. When you go into the supervision experience, you'll see a landing page with a list of dates and times. Select the ones that you feel that you can attend at the moment, and again, you're not held to attending all of them, but the ones that you believe that you can attend, and you'll get information sent to your email of how to show up over on Zoom. And we really look forward to having you guys there to be there with us in the community.
Perfect. I think that's it for now, but do let us know in the comments what your core values are, what's important for you. We'd really love to hear. Thank you so much for being here to join us today. Yes. If you're in the collective, you too are welcome, of course, but thanks for asking. Okay, happy Monday, everybody. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and let us know if you want to come and join the experience. We'd really love to welcome you to that. All right, take care. Bye-bye.